What's up, everybody? I'm over here looking for a video. I can't find my video now. I just had my video up here. It has been a long day, but we are here. Oh, man. I really can't find this. Hold up. There we go. I found it. There we go. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope everybody is doing well. We're going to do some quick shout outs before we get started. I know I haven't talked to y'all in a while. At least it feels like it. I know I did a couple of live streams, but what's going on? So for everybody who's at the MCSC network stream, if you want to give a super chat, make sure that you come to my backup page, my backup YouTube page. All right, I just put the link in the description for my backup YouTube. You should subscribe to that anyway, just to make sure you get all the notifications. All right. Also, or if you want to give Super Ray, you can go to that Rockfin stream right there. Do that. What's going on, Bethlehem? Bethlehem's over at the Rockfin stream. Definitely want more people at the Rockfin. That link is in the description below as well. Angel U, what's going on? Emmy Lynn, Maria Christina G, John to Emily, what's going on? What's going on? Maria Christina Bob, how you doing, brother? Nizar G, Mr. X, Jin Doe, Harold White, we got Angel U. Oh, I already shouted you out, but hey, whatever. Two shout outs ain't never bad. Wallace West, he said, where have I been? Combination of two things, family stuff, but also we have some big announcements that we're making tomorrow. So I've been preparing and getting ready for that stuff. Because it's a lot. Good stuff, all good stuff. Emblem Fate, Winston, Nizar G, much love to you too, bro. Missed everybody over here. Make sure let me see what we got on Rockfin before we get started. Super Saiyan Jin Curtis, what's going on, man? Mimosa Tuesday? Nah, this ain't Mimosa Tuesday. Nah, Mimosa Monday will resume back to the regularly scheduled program next Monday. But yesterday, like I said, we're making a bunch of announcements tomorrow, which I'll get into as the show progresses. But it's been a combination of that and dealing with family stuff, and life's crazy, guys. So, you know, March is always a crazy month, though. I feel like every single year of my adult life, March has always been wild. Trey Wright on Rockfin, what's going on? What's going on? Holly Heim on Rockfin. So, just to let everybody know before I start the stream, if you want to donate a super chat, I know a lot of our people donate super chats for their questions to be asked. I can only receive them on my backup YouTube channel. So that link I posted there, I'll post it again. Now, if you want to just follow us on Rockfin, you can do a Super Ray there. That way, I make sure I see your question, all that good stuff. So other than that, y'all, we got a crazy show. All right, Daily Beast smeared me in the combo couch, Jimmy Dore, a few others. I don't know why. I mean, I know why they did it, but I feel like it was just stupid. We're gonna get into that in a second. Bernie Sanders just started trying to sell us this garbage stimulus package, because I told you that was his role. The reason I didn't give a damn about him being chair of the budget committee or whatever was because this was going to be his role, to sell this idea that the Senate's getting more done than what they actually are, when we know they're not, because it's protect Democrats no matter what. We're also going to be discussing this Justice Democrats and brand new Congress scandal that almost nobody has been paying attention to, which is interesting, and I know why nobody's paying attention to it, but we're going to pay attention to it here today. Harlan's media got deleted from YouTube, so we're going to be talking about that. The entire Democratic Party staff quits in Nevada after socialist takeover. So that's dope. COVID has disappeared just a couple of months into, quote unquote, just a couple of months into Joe Biden's presidency. It's been a miracle. And then we're going to talk a little bit, only this much, about the royal family scandal. So let's get the show on the road, people. What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of MCSC. And of course, as always, I'm your humble host, Niko House. We right now are live on all 3 platforms. Well, I should say 2. We're live on YouTube, the main MCSC page. My YouTube backup page is just Niko House. And then we're live on Rockfin right now. Shout out to all my Rockfin peeps, and shout out to all the new people who join Rockfin, like Frank Analysis, Facts on the Ground with Missy and Jesse. There's just been a lot of new faces there, and they're already doing well. Like I was just talking to Franco this morning, like he's killing it already. He's already outpacing his YouTube numbers on Rockfin, which is insane. And it's only because YouTube, of course, is suppressing his YouTube videos, just like they suppress ours. So just shout out to everybody who's already on Rockfin. Rockfin is always showing us love. They sent out an email this morning, just like letting everybody know, like on Rockfin, who posted videos last night, in case you might have missed a notification, in case they couldn't send an email out to you. They wanted to make sure that you knew who posted videos from the people that you subscribe to. And that's how it should be, right? I feel like that's what YouTube should be doing, giving people a fair opportunity to be seen. Of course, the censorship is not allowing that because they're beholden to the establishment. I don't think anybody's proud at that by now. But for our first topic, I felt like this was an extremely important topic to discuss because we're talking about the stimulus package, of course, but there's another layer to this, which is how it is being sold to us. Now, under Trump, it was never good enough. And then, like, for the progressives, it was never good enough. On the floor, they voted for it. Hell, AOC even defended her vote eventually for the second one. But now that Biden's in, it's time to do what? Let's ignore the Democrats that screwed us over. Let's pretend like Biden can do a lot of this stuff himself if he wanted to, and couldn't use his leverage to get whatever he wanted in that stimulus package. Because House, Senate, White House, let's pretend like y'all didn't promise us 2,000, but instead have given us 1,400. And by the way, y'all not all you're getting it. So that's going to be fun. And finally, how they will use progressives to sell us this lie that this stimulus is somehow different and or better than the last stimulus, when it is actually worse. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This stimulus is worse than the one that was given to us under Trump and signed by Trump, and if I'm not mistaken, passed by Senate Republicans. So first, we're going to look at Bernie Sanders deciding it was a good idea to cape for the establishment. God, just breathe, y'all. Just breathe. We're going to get through this.
Anderson, in my view, this is the most significant legislation for working people that has been passed in decades.
What? Hold up. I want to make sure I heard that correctly, too. Cause I know some of y'all probably like, what? No, that don't make no sense. I know he didn't just say that. So
Anderson, in my view, this is the most significant legislation for working people that has been passed in decades. And what this legislation is about is looking out around our country in the midst of this terrible pandemic, the economic decline, the fact that our education of our kids has been disrupted, that people are facing eviction, families are facing hunger. We've looked at all of these issues and we said, what can we do? And I think what shocks many in the establishment, and certainly my Republican colleagues, is that we wrote a bill to address the crises facing working families and the middle class and low-income people, and not the wealthy and large corporations and their lobbyists. So this bill is enormously significant.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Whose man's is this, B?
It's true.
Bro, he literally just looked y'all dead in your face and said, this bill isn't for the corporations, it's for the working class. Okay, let's just go. I'm gonna ask Bernie this, and I'm gonna ask his sycophants at this point, because you have to be a sycophant this video should be viral. He should be getting dragged for this. So you have to be a sycophant. So now I'm gonna ask him this. So the $1,400, not everybody is getting. Okay, all right. The unemployment the extra unemployment, I should say, is being lowered. Okay. They're even taxing the previous unemployment apparently now. Okay. So I do some math in my little pea brain. I'm not that smart, guys, but I do a little bit of math every now and then. And I start doing the math on the numbers, and then I realize something. That don't add up to over $1 trillion. So if all the money isn't going to us, all the money isn't going to people who are unemployed, who were once employed, who's getting the rest of the money? That's what I'm trying to understand. And if you all have been able to find a copy of this piece of legislation, I would really appreciate if you can provide it to me, because what it looks like is that we are seeing the same type of shenanigan and antics done under Biden, that are being done under Biden and the Democrats that we saw under Trump and Republicans, which is, let's tell everybody what's in the bill and we'll talk about it. Hopefully you will believe us. And then when the bill hits the floor, which is when most senators and Congress people will see it for the first time, let's pretend like we didn't know how horrible it's going to be. So, Mr. Chairman of the Budget Committee, why are you not talking about everything that's in the bill? Because before, maybe I could have been a little bit lenient on you. Maybe I could have been like, maybe Burton didn't get a chance to get it because maybe the establishment was holding the bill from him. Yeah, except for you're the chairman now of the Budget Committee specifically. What else is in the bill, Bernie? Please give me an explanation for, you know what? Let's talk about what's in that bill. Just what we know so far. This is a $2 trillion stimulus bill, and it's heading back to the House for final approval. Final approval after it was approved in the Senate by Democrats that promised you $2,000. I can't stress that enough. They promised you $2,000. Couldn't even give you that. Oh, and I do have to say this too. In Bernie's Facebook post, which is disingenuous as hell, this man goes on there and says, we increased the checks to $1,400. That's what he said. We boosted them. No, you reduced it from 2,000 because that's what you said you were going to give us. But okay. The article says that the nearly $2 trillion stimulus bill is heading back to the House for final approval. The COVID-19 relief package, which includes $1,400 stimulus checks and more money for unemployed workers, cleared a major hurdle on Saturday with a narrow Senate passage. After the House receives and agrees to the bill, it will head to President Joe Biden to sign, hitting a March 14th deadline the Democrats have aimed toward for months. So they probably won't hit that because we all know Democrats don't hit headlines. They don't keep promises. So anyway, the Senate made a number of amendments to the bill that will affect how much of the $1,400 you could receive by reducing income limits for the third stimulus check. Now, by reducing income limits, they don't mean, oh, you mean we're reducing the limitations on income for you? Nope. In other words, it makes it more difficult for you to get the check now. And I can almost guarantee the checks will not go out until after you file your new taxes. So some people will file and they may have made, however much, maybe you made $60,000 this year, except for your normal income is $120,000. and you're about to go bankrupt, and you're about to lose your house, and your family's had to drop out, or your kids had to drop out of college. I feel like you could probably use that full $1,400. But they don't care about stuff like that because it's means tested. The article says that the changes will exclude millions of people from qualifying for the new payment. So there you go. Lawmakers also lowered the weekly unemployment insurance rate from the initial House version, but left alone expanded child tax credits to lower income families and funding for COVID-19 vaccine distribution. Of course, we also know that the Senate dropped the federal minimum wage increase from the legislation, but proponents vow to reintroduce it at a later date. I bet they do vow to reintroduce it at a later date. They always vow to reintroduce it at a later date. I don't know how many later dates there can be. Good God almighty. Emblem Fate, thank you very much for the super ray over on Rockfin. Y'all don't forget to like and share this video, by the way. I think electoralism is a waste of time for now. In 2016, Assange revealed our elections are rigged. The media admitted it and then ignored it. We need a movement to destroy the propaganda complex, and then election reform, and then electoralism. It's hard to argue with that. That's what we spend all day trying to do. Shout out to people who came from YouTube to Rockfin. Hey, Carlin! What's going on? I know, watching this happen to Bernie is sad as shit. It's so sad, bro. It's so sad. Bethlehem, thank you for the super ray. Appreciate you. Why is he doing this? Just disappear? What a disgrace. I know, like, it's crazy because you're talking about a guy who could have probably went down in history for this type of progressivism that he had been responsible, the progressive energy that he was responsible for creating. And all he had to do was just not sell out. And even if not saying even if he was going to sell out, maybe not do it at a time where you're trying to legitimize a segregationist rapist. Maybe sell out at a more convenient time. I don't know. At any other time. That's the worst possible time. It's just sad to see. It is sad to see because of how many people have been duped. That's the saddest part. I could care less about his legacy. He's just another politician at this point. But it's sad to see the energy that he stole from this movement. And then because of that, the cynicism that has come from it. Because now people just don't trust anybody, which in my humble opinion was ultimately the goal of propping Bernie up, especially in the 2019 election, because I felt it was weird that he decided to run instead of just backing Tulsi. Because if he didn't run, how many people began attacking Tulsi merely because she ran against Bernie? But she announced first and had made it clear she was going to run earlier. It almost seems like his goal was to undermine the progressives, because when the neoliberals united, when it was time for Bernie to say, okay, now it's time for us to do the same thing, what did he do? He shunned them. So what we're seeing right now, even like I said, from the budget committee, this is what he was put on the budget committee for. I told y'all this when it happened. They were like, why are you being so pessimistic? I'm not being pessimistic, bro. I'm just real. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not stupid. I see patterns. Everybody can see it. If he got elected to the budget committee, it's because he's part of the game now. He's one of the players. He is not for you. It is time to accept it. Stop putting your faith in these politicians. The ones who are great and altruistic, or at least good, they leave or they get shunned out. You can look at Cynthia McKinney or Tulsi Gabbard or even Justin Amash, Kasich, Gravel. We see how great politicians are treated. While Bernie is getting CNN interviews with Mr. Anderson, I worked for the CIA when I was in college, Cooper. Okay? So what's also wild about this is that we know for a fact the $15 per hour minimum wage thing was largely something that Bernie had a large responsibility in popularizing. Thank you very much for the super ray, by the way. Thank you very much. So for you to have that, Like you were the one who was kind of like cultivating this movement. Then as a Democratic, part of the Democratic leadership of one of the most important committees, you let them shut it down in your face. You vote for the bill anyway instead of standing your damn ground. And then go on here on CNN and not even mention that part. Why? You don't want people to organize? Like, okay, like you could literally just say, hey, look, this is what the deal was. Yeah, this stuff got put in here, but we're still missing minimum wage. In fact, I feel like this means tested nonsense is actually like, keep it real. But, well, they gave me this leadership position, so I was shut up. So that's what I'm going to do. Bernie is good, people. Bernie is fine. And like I said, time and time again, if Bernie or his family didn't have health care, would he have quit that race? Would he have quit the race and let one of the worst neocons who have ever lived be anointed as president? Despite the fact that every criticism that he had of Donald Trump can be applied just as equally, if not more so, now that we're finding this out, we're learning right now, people, this administration has been worse than Donald Trump. I don't know if y'all have caught on to that yet. Have y'all realized that? Trump tried to get more money and they attacked him at every turn, Republicans and Democrats alike. Trump put out executive order to extend, the moratoriums on homes and mortgages, et cetera, in Democratic states like New York, even here in Florida, they were putting people out anyway. But the difference is in New York, you got people like AOC and Cuomo who are allowing these evictions to happen illegally anyway. People are getting evicted right now. You hear anything about a moratorium on evictions? Do you hear anything about a moratorium on evictions? Question from my people who are in an unfortunate scenario where your home is taken, your mortgage is defaulted. You're getting evicted as we speak. I know some people like that. Are you? Hold up. Has y'all's eventually, like, did something happen that I missed? 'Cause I know I was on vacation. Did something happen that I missed where all of a sudden all of your evictions were wiped out? Did your court cases get dropped? As cool as it is that some people are going to get $1,400, but like what's crazy is like I feel like the people who are going to get it where it could be a boost, like a boost rather than just trying to catch up, they kind of didn't need the money. I won't say they didn't need it because I don't know everybody's family, but what I'm saying is the ones who actually need it aren't going to get it because it's this weird tier of when you are poor or like medium poor. I would say poverty, like right above the poverty line. You kind of get screwed because like whatever you're doing, like 30 different things to keep the bills paid and the roof over your head. When you are a little bit above upper middle class, that is the worst position to be in right now because you don't qualify for any of this anyway, but you probably lost your job because, when you in middle management, a lot of the times you're the most expendable. So like those type of jobs, those people were losing their jobs first and they weren't making the money back in unemployment. So there is a year of what they refer to as Trump's, economic failures, which is what I would say that's not true. Oh, it's not just Trump's. It's all y'all's failures. So every bad thing that happened under that administration in that year, they could have fixed and addressed during this bill where they have the Senate, they have the House, they have the executive branch, and everybody in the world watching them. And they are so confident that people will not organize. They just pointed at you and laughed and was like, yeah, but here you go. $2,000. So $1,400 checks that everybody ain't getting. I know that the $300 is supposedly going as a tax credit. So like, yeah, I guess. And the only reason they're giving it as a tax credit is to make sure that you file your taxes so that they can get the money from the unemployment they just gave you. That's why they're doing that, because they want to make sure that they get that money back. You know, because how else are they going to give blank checks to corporations? It's just the audacity of hope, bro. The audacity of hope. So we giving the boo to Bernie today. We're giving the boo to Bernie today in this stimulus bill. Like I said, I will always be thankful for anybody who gets extra money in their pocket in which they weren't expecting. However, with that being said, do not confuse me being thankful for people getting money in their pockets with me not understanding that they deserve and are entitled to more of their money that they are paying their taxes with. So I'm tired of these motherfucking politicians getting every single piece of their paycheck, whatever we can do just like, who's selling out the people? The Daily Beast. The Daily Beast, actually. Us would be a good idea. Or, oh, let me pull this up for you, my bad. Dirtbag left stars are flirting with on the right, whatever. You see how they put Jimmy Dore. So, I'm going to read. Over the past year, that led to the January 6th push, whatever the hell it is, on the Capitol, some prominent members of the dirtbag left and the radical left have been weird, because at this point, I feel like that's like a pretty understood thing. Like, do we still have a CIA? Times sound an awful lot like the fever dreams of the alt-right. Party's Advisory Council, a member of the Boogaloo Boys, a militant group that threatened violence ahead of Biden's inauguration. So, like, that video did very well. And then it's crazy that this person took this time to write this article case, which is the reason, you know, because they believe that Boogaloos are anti-BLM when they ran security for BLM. Boogaloos were smeared. But Boogaloos don't have a figurehead as an op, or op that's a figurehead. So like I told y'all, I've been telling y'all about the Proud Boys and the Antifa, basically the same thing. They're from the same brainchild, if you will. 2 days before that, the January 6th thing, Tario was arrested with 2 magazines on him. In which case, maybe 5 days later or something like that, it came out, oh yeah, by the way, my bad, he's one of ours. That's what the Fed said. He's a snitch. He's a narc. Nala boo. Come on, you got to go. You got to go, baby girl. You can say hi though. You want to say hi? Say hi, Nala. Let me go put my baby up. Hold up. Hello, baby Jesus. Anyway. But yeah, Tario was a snitch. And it went far too underreported because the right didn't want to report it, because they're like, shit, man, we've been kind of defending these people. We've been kind of like kissing their ass and like trying to defend them from Antifa. And we said Antifa was a development that was created by this version of Antifa, I should say, not the original Antifa from the 30s and the 40s. This one where we clearly see they think that Trump is a fascist, but where they at, bro? Am I mistaken? Have we not been looking at fascism dead in our... I just told you, I did a video the other day, but 2 days ago? Kentucky is in the process right now of passing a bill that would make it illegal, a crime, to insult a cop. And if you do it, and you're on government assistance, you'll lose it for 3 months. No organizing around this. All of a sudden, Antifa has been taken out of everybody's bios. Have y'all not noticed that on Twitter? Have y'all not noticed that? Because I've noticed it. Antifa is taken out of people's bios. Like, it's been interesting to see how much Antifa's fallen out of the conversation. just like Proud Boys were booted out of the conversation. Because at the end of the day, they were products of the establishment. They were meant to foment anger and hate and get you all to turn against each other instead of focusing on the establishment. But the Boogaloos aren't like that. They're like completely decentralized, like actually decentralized. So because they're actually decentralized and they wanted to use their guns to protect Black lives, that they became a problem. Jimmy's videos from that shit were popular. And it resulted in a lot of people learning something about the Boogaloos that they may have otherwise not learned and just may have believed mainstream, which you should never do. If the mainstream media ever makes it a point to attack anybody, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm probably friends with them now, because if the mainstream hates them, it can't be all that bad. So, like even said, but Penvidya supports a rainbow flag in his Twitter bio, offered movement a more palatable pro-LGBT and anti-fascist face. What? Penvidya also has tweeted that Kyle Rittenhouse, like what? Come on, bro. This is what they on. Yes. Penvidya has, actually his views on the actual Kyle Rittenhouse situation are not that crazy, actually. He goes into detail because he was there, actually. He goes into detail about the situation. And so people don't like the other side. He tells both sides of the story. And like people just don't like it. I mean, what you want me to do? If the story is a story and he was there, I wasn't there, and it was the most accurate portrayal of the situation and given the details that have been left out by the mainstream media and by Kyle Rittenhouse himself, that's not a bad thing. But according to this person, it's bad. But this part just looks like not only is it trying to smear Dore, but like it's basically trying to just attack Magnus. And it's weird. It's just weird, bro. So let's see what he said about me. Hold on, where'd my name go? There we go. So, Jack Posobiec is a far-right media figure who spearheaded the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, which is actually not exactly true, but he was deeply, deeply concerned with the Epstein situation, and he did a lot of actually great reporting on that nobody else would have did, because it was exposing both. He actually exposed some Republicans too. He exposed both Democrats and Republicans, which insisted Hillary Clinton led a pedophile cabal ran out of Comet Pizza, reposted Dore's tweet in which the populist said he was completely floored by his interview with Penvidya, and commenting simply, exactly, on huh? So, I'm confused. Y'all, I'm confused. Hold up, bring it back real quick. So, all this other stuff that they put in here, Pizzagate, far right figure, all that nonsense, and they're like, and guess what he did? He tweeted out Dore's interview and said exactly that Magnus is part of the LGBTQ community and that they were running, because there's this film and pictures of them running security for BLM. I don't know, what are we going to do about that? We just ignore that shit now? I mean, see, gotcha. If Jack Posobiec is saying exactly, well, then the opposite must be true. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Here's where it gets fun. Last October, Posobiec also interviewed People's Party advocate Niko House in an OAN program devoted to The perpetual neoliberal nightmare. And House was featured in Pozobic's documentary, Antifa, Rise of the Black Flags. Yeah, actually, all that's true. I appreciate the interview, Jack, by the way. That was dope. Because of that interview that I got with Jack on OWAN, I became acquaintances with Ice Cube's manager. So now Ice Cube and his manager are fans of my show. I ended up going on Ben Swan's show for a debate with Melissa Chen and some others, which I had never done. I've actually always been a huge fan of Ben Swan. Never gotten a chance to go on his show, although I had wanted to for so long. Guess what? I was given an interview opportunity. I was also given a live spot on RT's Election Day coverage because of that interview. I got to use that interview to talk about Standing Rock. I got to use that interview to talk about what happened in Ferguson and the 8 to 10 activists who are currently missing. I got to use that interview to ask, where were they at in Ferguson? Where were they at in Standing Rock? Where were they at in Baltimore? Where y'all been at? And now you're gonna keep that same energy for Biden, which seem now to be really relevant questions, huh? Yeah, because they are. I've had a lot of RT interviews since then, actually. I've had a lot of bigger interviews since then. I've had a lot of conservatives reach out to me telling me they didn't know that they were sane leftists. And by sane, they really just mean honest. That's all. That's it. That don't attack people. It's one thing we disagree. It's another thing we're just attacking each other just to attack each other just because you're left and I'm right. Or if we are the hypocrisy of our arguments. That's what. So now all of a sudden conservatives are like, well, let me hear what you got to say about it. You know how many conservatives I've convinced that policing institutions are inherently anti-constitutional and police are not their friends? You know how many conservatives that listen to this show that otherwise would hear not a single argument about race now are like, well, Niko's been honest about everything else. I may be uncomfortable with what he has to say. I may not like what he has to say, but let me hear him out because he has not steered me wrong in any other aspect. So he probably won't steer me wrong here either. All because Jack invited me on his show after hearing me make an argument for reparations. So I'm gonna repeat that. Jack, this guy who's supposedly a far right wing, racist, neo-Nazi, whatever, he invites me on his show after I argued for reparations because he was impressed. And whenever he introduced me to some of his conservative colleagues, there was no, hey, I'm just letting y'all know he's a leftist, so don't, no. It was, hey man, y'all should meet my friend Niko, bro. Hey Niko, tell him what you said about da-da-da-da. Right? He's right? Like he's right about that shit. Do you know what I get when I'm right from white leftists? Well, let's go look at an example of that actually. Let's go ahead and take a little break from this article. Let's go look at an example of what happens when I'm right and these leftists can't handle it. Because I just so happen to have one. Oop, wrong one. There we go. I just so happen to have one on hand, everybody. Y'all bear with me now. All right. So, when y'all know Walker Brogdon, some of y'all do. He tried to bully people and shame people into voting for Trump. He was really, really upset when he found out that I was speaking at the People's Party convention and that nobody cares about his existence. And actually, I went back and checked from the time of the convention until now. And yeah, the same still holds true. Nobody cares about his existence. And it's really upsetting to him because, how dare me, a young black guy with no connections whatsoever, come out of nowhere and kind of blow Walker out the water in every single way. I mean, he has like maybe 2,000 more Twitter followers. I mean, still, but like that's probably going to fix itself. So Walker is a little upset with me, guys. I don't know if y'all know that. So he said 46 days into his administration, Biden hasn't canceled a single dollar student debt. And I said, and you bully people into voting for somebody you knew wouldn't cancel a single dollar of student debt. I feel like that's a pretty fair assessment, right? David Oatness, thank you very much for the Super Ray. Much love. I'm not crazy though, right? Everybody kind of feels like they knew that Biden was full of shit there because, well, he has a 47-year history of being full of shit. So, his response to that was this. You know my tweets are searchable. People can look it up and see you're full of shit. Except for no, they're not. He has posted a tweet of, I mean, look at this bullying. Okay, so you found one tweet from April? Like, nah, bro. You were caped. You caped for Biden. And pretend like you didn't know what you were doing, and now you're like, yeah, no. Walker, there's a reason that half the progressive movement don't like you, bro. You think it's just for no reason? Come on. So then he goes and does this. He goes, you know, doing what he does to deflect. And so because I say this, his response to this conversation is, I'm going to post a picture of Niko and Jack Posobiec. Oh my God. A picture that I posted, actually. So I don't know why you think that would be like, oh my God. And so what does he mean by this? He's intending to try and show Niko is standing with a racist. Now, let's go ahead and address the irony and the awkwardness of making such a claim. Walker Brogman boastfully even went out and tweeted about it. He voted for Joe Biden on the working families line, which is like disgusting. You voted for a segregationist, told others to do so. You knew he was racist. You knew he was a liar. And so your response for me calling you out for voting for me, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm black. I know it's kind of like some people forget, but I am black. And your response for me calling you out for voting for that segregationist is to, well, you hung out with a racist. Did you know that? Okay, so let's just say Jack was racist, which obviously, once again, that could be a little bit problematic. I'm not saying Jack is a conservative. I'm not saying Jack doesn't have his own past. But I am saying, let's be honest, guys. But like, let's just say Jack was. So what you're saying is, it's okay and justified for you to vote for the racist, but I can't befriend anybody you consider racist when I know personally the only way you build bridges to end racism is by directly engaging with people who thought they knew how black people were or whatever race was, who thought they knew. Because I've literally seen my brother turn somebody from Alabama, from one of the families that used to be one of the wealthiest families in Alabama that helped to almost single-handedly fund the Civil War but went broke after for obvious reasons. Like, I saw him turn this guy into somebody who abandoned his family because they wouldn't get rid of their racism just because my brother tried to understand him rather than attack him. Didn't give him passes on stuff, but didn't pretend like he was beyond reason, because we're all subject to our own experiences and we've all been propagandized, especially Walker. He should know because he's participated in most of the propaganda. So because you a white man, so it's okay for you to vote for a segregationist, but it's not okay for the black man to reach out to the other side that you consider racist. Because of what, Walker? I'm confused. What is it? What exactly is the thing that makes you feel like that's okay. I can't quite put my finger on it, people. Zachary Checha, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on Drake's Scary Hours 2 and Dr. Carl Hart? Oh, that's a different conversation for a different day, but I love it, actually. The Scary Hours 2 part. Yeah, the sheer audacity of this man, y'all, to really believe that this was a smart idea to do that. But you know why? Because Walker is racist. And he can't stand me because I'm me. It has nothing to do with my political affiliation. It even has nothing, because do you think Walker would do this about Jimmy Dore? Otis Buckley, thank you very much for the super ray. Can you provide me with the name of the BLM leader that requests security for the Boogaloo? No, but I can get it from Magnus. I can get it from Magnus and I can get it to you. Shoot me a DM to remind me. Panquake.com. AA. But have you ever seen, what would you ever see Walker talk to Jimmy Dore like this? No? Yeah? No? Probably not, right? I think we can all agree with that. He would never. And he's obsessed. Like, all I tweeted was, and by the way, this is hilarious. I DM my friends. I said, y'all, watch this. I'm about to make Walker waste his time attacking me just so I can have some entertainment today. Watch me trigger this motherfucker. And he literally falls for it. Like, we were going to do over-unders on the odds of him falling for it. Everybody said he was going to fall for it, so we didn't really make no money. But it's so easy to trap these people in this loop that they're in, a loop of hypocrisy. That all you have to do is tell them something that they did. And they're like, how dare you remind me of what I did? Yeah. Anyway. So let me go ahead and continue. They got my man Teodros, man. They got Teo and Teddy got deleted off of Twitter too, man. Oh, I should also mention, so that he said that I interviewed with bro, I can't believe he just Pozobic interviewed People Party's advocate Niko House on OAN program, the perpetual Neo. Like, did he just put as many buzzwords as humanly possible in one sentence, hoping that something, like, he would just keep throwing shit against the wall and hope that it stuck? Is that what he's doing? But yeah, the perpetual neoliberal nightmare. Do you know what that was? Do you know what that was? You know, I don't want to mention it. I'll tell you what it was. The nightmare was that there is a huge chance that they're just setting up for a Kamala Harris presidency. And that we could have Biden, then potentially Harris, then potentially Harris. Well, could we have Biden? And then as long as it's after the first 2 years, that doesn't count as a term. Right? Doesn't count as a term. So she gets to run again. And then she gets to run again. And we no longer have control of our electoral system. Everybody's made that blatantly obvious this last election. So yeah, we could be stuck in 12 years of a perpetual neoliberal nightmare. That's what I said. 100%. You know who gave me the opportunity to talk about the damage? Like the legitimate, genuine damage. Not going, oh, Kamala ain't black. Like, no. That wasn't one of those conversations. He let me talk about the innocent people Kamala kept in jail. Let me talk about the damage that she's done to the black community. How the black community actually feels about her from a leftist perspective. You know who's giving me that opportunity? Think about it like this. There's not a lot of black people in independent media, right? Especially at the time, there's not a lot of popular black people in this space of independent media. How many times have you seen me go on a popular show, even though they all know who I am, to talk about Kamala for obvious reasons. Think about it. The only other program that has been RT. And Richie brought me on to Press TV for the show he's on for Iran's television network, and that was it. That was all. You would assume that the only, like, maybe Jamaro, that's it. So they got like me and Jamaro. Jamaro was not called on that often, if at all, for the really popular channels, but they know who he is too because he's on Sputnik. And I was brought on by Jack, RT, and Richie for Press TV for Iran. That was it. And the lack of concern for that in the left is actually really bothersome, because it's just like with the Mike Bloomberg thing, right? I was like in New York during stop and frisk. Y'all all know who I am. Y'all all want to, like, all these white saviors were over here talking about, oh my God, we're so offended. I just wish that we had someone who could elaborate on the effects of this in the black community. Maybe someone who has experiential knowledge of this. Perhaps. But, too late. New news cycle. It doesn't matter anymore. Gotta get the Democrats elected. It's hilarious. But then they got, like I said, they got Teddy. They got my man Teddy. They got my man. They got, here we go. Squad. One podcaster who spoke at the Moving Forward People Party Driven Force to Vote, Fiorella Isabella of the podcast Convo Couch. Hold up. Force to Vote protest. First of all, let me be very clear about something. People Party's cool. That wasn't their protest. That was, the movement itself was started by Jimmy. The protest itself was founded by Jackson Hinkle. He flew his ass from Arizona to DC to host a 3-day protest. And he was there every single day. Not only was he there, but he was at the Assange protest too. Y'all need to give Jackson Hinkle his goddamn credit and stop trying to pretend like he don't exist. Because they don't want to give air to anybody else, because that's how they used to do me too. Like, they would give other people credit for my DNC fraud lawsuit so that nobody would know who I was, so that I wouldn't become this. They're doing the same thing to Jackson. Stop trying to take that man's credit. All right? Like, Jackson busted his ass to organize that event, and he absolutely deserves the credit for it. So shout out to Jackson. I'll make sure I go follow The Dive on YouTube and Rockfin, by the way. That's his show. The podcaster who spoke at the Move for People Party Driven Force to Vote protest, Fiorella Isabel of the podcast Convo Couch, had independent journalist Ford Fisher on the Convo Couch for a segment called Boogaloo Boys and BLM Unity, in which her co-host Craig, his name is Pasta. Let me put my man's government name out there. Shit. Pasta called for solidarity between Black Lives Matter and the Proud Boys. The chauvinist movement now faces conspiracy charges, blah, blah, blah. This is what Pasta said. No matter what, I'm hoping that there's some unity in the streets. Just some unity in the streets whatsoever. I know these two groups, the Proud Boys and BLM, they kind of go at each other's throats. But at the end of the day, I'm looking up at the government and what they're doing. Did Pasta say something that was wrong here, or inflammatory, or even controversial? Hey guys, stop believing the lies in which these two parties tell you about, like, y'all should work together, because at the end of the day, like, it's the government that's causing all of your problems, not black people, not, whoever. We should be unifying and going after them. I feel like that's not a controversial thing to say at all. And yet somehow this psychotic asshole read this and was like, or heard this and was like, wow, what an asshole. What a racist prick. You want unity? I got something for you. I gotta see my Kermit face. That's what he on. So, hey, shit. Let's just go ahead and call this what it is. This was a stupid ass article. Why would you do this? You know how many people about to watch this video, bro? You know how many subscribers I'm about to get? You know how many followers I'm about to get on Rockfin? Hey, everybody, matter of fact, why are you watching this? Go to Rockfin, ROKFIN.com. Make sure you go to the link in the description. Subscribe to me, Convo Couch, Jimmy Dore is on there. In fact, there's a lot of people who are on Rockfin mentioned in this discussion. That's pretty interesting. Sure has nothing to do with it though. We're seeing true progress when it comes to clout equality. Because the last time I did Huffington Post like dedicated a whole ass article to me, but that's only because I was with Tulsi at the time. So I was working with Tulsi and fundraising for her. So like they were mad at me. That's cool, whatever. But like now we're getting put in Daily Beast and mainstream media smears, and it's on our own accord, and we don't have any blue checks. It's just an equitable treatment amongst the independent journalism community. We didn't need a blue check for us to get that smear. And we appreciate you, man. We really do. A lot of people read this article. A lot of people gonna keep reading it too. And you sound ridiculous. You sound ridiculous in this whole article. Like, if anything, you're probably like people that didn't like us now, probably kind of like us now. Probably gonna go ahead and move on to our next topic. Do y'all know who Paula Jean is? So Paula Jean ran for Senate out of West Virginia. Paula Jean, for the most part, has been a fantastic progressive, actually, for the most part. And Paula Jean did something the other day about brand new Congress, AOC, just Democrats. The same truth. Glory's white to expose them to talk to their. Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, you already on such program. Did that in this event. Don't be trying to. Okay, I think after she done to her. Well, I did, and I can tell you. No more. So Paula Jean, and we're gonna read a couple more of her tweets too. But I just want to give y'all a little idea. She was supposed to be a member. She was, if I recall, absolutely someone who endorsed AOC, and then so she says, "Let me break for Congress." Zach Eckley Sakai AOC, because that's what happened. By the way, I like against Brenda Snipes after she destroyed a bunch of ballots. Like people, they said I was doing leftist infighting. Here we are. I did bare minimum services, and that is an understatement. Out of my race and everyone else's except for against the slate, and seems to be a pattern for them, right? We found out that so what she is referring to here, for those of you, by the way, you might want to go ahead and press subscribe. Go ahead and press subscribe real quick. Press subscribe, because I'm gonna show y'all what she's referring to. Ugh, there we go. There we go. We're gonna see if we can find this in real time. Because me and Fiorella covered this. Okay, I can't find it because, of course, it's censored. So, but basically, what happened was Sakat Chakrabarti got caught funneling millions of dollars from unilaterally from brand new Congress to the brand new, from Justice Democrats to brand new Congress. The problem with that is, like Paula Jean said, Justice Democrats have a board, but that board was not consulted before that major fund transfer was made. Millions of dollars. AOC acted like she had no idea what was going on. And oh, no. I lied. My bad. That's not what she said. What she said was, I have, what'd she say? Oh, we didn't do anything illegal, is what it was. Nothing done was illegal, is what she said. Mm-hmm. Now, when we covered this, people, me and Fiorella did a whole show on this. We were called conspiracy theorists. We said, I'm like, no. I don't think you understand. Yeah, it's bad that he did it, but like, I kind of suspected that he was compromised anyway. But with that being said, I was kind of more concerned about the fact that, like, millions and millions of dollars. I'm like, yo, how many Justice Democrats and brand new Congress people didn't get any money? And they were told, because I knew people in brand new Congress. I said, well, hold on. I thought that they didn't have money to do this for you or that for you. So it turned out they had the money the entire time and they were funneling it out. But AOC, so now you got to go back and be like, hold up. Man, matter of fact, we're going to find this damn story today. We're going to find this story. Chief of Staff caught funneling money from Justice Democrats to BNC. Booyah! From March 4th, 2019. Bruh, what is y'all trying to sell me? March 4th, 2019. AOC Chief of Staff ran $1 million slush fund by delivering campaign cash to his own companies. Two political action committees founded by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's top aide funneled $1 million in political donations into two of his own private companies, according to a complaint filed with the Federal Election Commission on Monday. The cash transfer from PACs overseen by Sakat Chakrabarti, the freshman Socialist Democrat's chief of staff, run counter to her pledges of transparency and reduce the influence of dark money in politics. Chakrabarti's companies appear to have been set up with the sole purpose of obscuring how the political donations were used. The complaint names Ocasio-Cortez and Chakrabarti as respondents. It asked the FEC to investigate and audit two PACs, saying they were engaged in an elaborate scheme to avoid proper disclosure of campaign expenditures. He funded a PAC called Brand New Congress in 2016 and another called Justice Democrats in 2017, with the stated goal of helping elect progressive candidates to Congress. One of those candidates was Ocasio-Cortez, who last November at age of 29 became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. So, what you are learning for the first time, some of you, because I know a lot of y'all weren't allowed to watch us during the primary. I know, it's okay. We're not mad at you. We're here now. So a lot of you are finding out for the first time what I have been saying for years now. Because I've worked in politics, because I was plugged into politics, because I knew these people. I was the one. You remember when AOC kept fumbling over her words and couldn't get any interview right because she was getting crushed over the Medicare for All question? And then she had that viral interview on CNN. She had a viral interview on CNN where she was like, why don't you use the money from all the bombs that we're dropping on other countries? I don't want to hear the excuse that we don't have money to spend here to save lives when we have money to take lives. Guess who gave AOC all of those talking points? That was me. And if anybody wants to ask her campaign manager, VG, I'm sure her former campaign manager, who was also pushed off to the side. Go ahead and ask if you have her contact information. Go ahead. BNC and Justice Democrats were a Ponzi scheme. And guess the AOC kept her office. She got her clout. She made her money. She signed a CAA. Chaka Barty made out like a bandit, even though he saw the ship burning down. So he was like, "Oop, I'm out." The reason that we were warning people, y'all think it's because like you think we want this to be true? You think like we want to walk around covering conservative articles like, because no other leftists wanted to talk about this. Only me and Fiorella covered this. No, my apologies. Heartlands, Kit covered this too. I remember distinctly, Kit covered this too. Same day. We were attacked over and over again for trying to warn people about bro, you gonna be mad at me for telling you what's in an FEC document? I'm not making this up. This is FEC verified shit. Yeah, but it came from a right-wing publication. Okay, screw the right-wing publication part. Just follow the simple logic. Because I personally knew people who had gotten screwed out of their campaign. So they spent all their time, and then the BNC, they make it so that you can't have any control over your campaign. Like basically you have no control over your platform, especially back then, because they needed to be just like this so we can bring in enough money and donations and support without having to commit too much to something that was too, revolutionary, like being anti-war or election integrity. This is we've been warning you is what I'm trying to tell you. We've been here. We've been talking about this. This is from March 4th, 2019. And if you want to go, I know there's probably some people in the YouTube chat be like, nah, I remember that video. But go look up, if you want to put some time into it, go look up the video. We were telling y'all about this. That's when I say, like, you got all these people out here that are not honest actors. Paula Jean, shout out to Paula Jean, being willing to come out and put her brand on the line, because you know how these leftists do. You know they've been blacking her out now. That's why I'm like, oh, no, that's not how this is going to work. And we're going to make sure that this makes the rounds. But it ain't going down like that, homie. Paula Jean just told y'all, I was in the BNC, and I'm telling you the BNC's full of shit. I was in bringing down the House with AOC and Justice Democrats. With AOC, I'm telling you Justice Democrats and AOC are full of shit. Basically letting us know that whatever people have been saying, the people like us, not like the crazy weirdo people that are like obsessed with her looks, like the people like us who have been telling you about AOC for the last 2 years, almost 3 years now. We were right the entire time. So where all that, nah, y'all just Tulsi sycophants noise at now, motherfuckers? I'm trying to, where y'all at? So y'all telling me Paula Jean's a Tulsi sycophant? Is that why she's saying this about AOC? I know, Fred, tell me about it. He said Niko's one of the devils that helped AOC. Imagine. I know, trust me, a lot of us feel that way. A lot of us. But we were just trying to do the right thing, man. You know? It's crazy that it's just wild to me. It's wild to me that we even, like, that I have to have this conversation. The reason I keep reiterating that we did, because y'all, oh, by the way, Jig Forever, thank you very much for the tip. It's great to have you back. I appreciate you. But, and by the way, everybody, I can't actually figure out on y'all's end. I know some people said they've had trouble with the stream on YouTube, but like, I don't have any drop frames. My system computer usage is super low. Like the screen is actually really clear. So if YouTube is dropping the frames, it's because they're doing it themselves. Which for us is not new. Y'all know this. Because when they have the frames drop like that and it's like a bitrate problem, then they don't send it out to anybody. So, but shout out to all y'all who stuck around. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to all Rockfin peeps. I know Rockfin's been having this trouble. So I'm tracking that. But yeah, man, like it's crazy. It's really, it's honestly insane to me that like the writing has been on the wall, and yet like it wasn't just that people didn't believe it. Like if it was just people didn't believe, I guess like okay, whatever, you just gotta wait and see, I guess. But it was like they didn't believe it, then they attacked people who had proof with no proof. They attacked our proof with, but AOC, no info. The leftists, we gotta protect each other. Like they attacked us from you. It was literally stolen from you if you donated to her, or to Just Democrats, which I know a lot of you did. So here we are. Oh, I'm assuming Raw Meat has said, what we don't know is that behind closed doors, AOC is working on something that will be good for us all. That's what we're always told, right? You don't know. Maybe she got some concessions. That's why she voted for Pelosi. Yeah, she got some concessions, but she definitely got some concessions for her bank account. That's for sure. We got we have a couple more topics. Give me one second. Oh man. Let's go ahead and talk about our lens needs your help. We need you to message YouTube and Team YouTube to restore our staff. Some people have been had videos removed, friends and colleagues, other than I want to say Ryan Christian and Whitney Webb. I think those are the only other two. It literally, bye-bye. Oh, see, there you go. Until June. Almost all of them have part-time jobs or full-time jobs in Chicago that they rent out to other people so they can even thinking about the ramification that it could have for this network. Or maybe they did, and that's why they did it. This is very interesting, the pattern that we've seen, that it's been almost, it hasn't been exclusively, cryptocurrency YouTubers got his shit just taken down completely. We know what this is really about. Extremely credible reporting. Every single time people are beginning to hit their stride, and it's not CNN, it's not mainstream media, and they won't toe the neoliberal, neo-progressive talking points, they won't toe that line, this is what happens. They demonetize us, they remove us, they suspend us, they delete our videos. But it's okay, because what I would like for y'all to do is go to Rockfin in the link in the description below. Okay. Go search Heartlands Media. Matter of fact, we're gonna do it together. We're gonna do it together. It's this simple. And just click the follow button. Send them a tip. Consider subscribing if you want to. Because they're going to keep doing this if we don't start. I told people, that's why it's one of the reasons I took a month off of YouTube specifically, was because I'm not about to entertain y'all. Fine, I'll go to Rockfin then. I'll go to Rockfin for the month, and since y'all think that it's all sweet, and because you all are amazing, a lot of y'all came with me. Because right now, y'all know where we're at on YouTube, on Rockfin right now? We're about to be at 13,000. Hey, y'all help me hit 13,000. What y'all doing, man? Come on. We're like 10, 11 followers away. We're about to be at 13,000 followers, 200 premium subscribers, so that they get to watch all of our premium content and everybody's premium content on Rockfin. If y'all endorse our channel, you get everybody's premium content in addition to our Rockfin exclusive Thursday show from 5 to 7 that we do. So, but a lot of this isn't just because obviously we've been promoting Rockfin, but this is because there's a mass exodus from YouTube happening right now. And there's some, by the way, there are some other big names about to come on Rockfin. So yeah, we're going over there. That's where we at now. Odysee 2, ODYSEE.com. And you can find the MCSC network there as well. But Y'all go. Make sure you follow make sure you go follow Heartlands, Send Kit in the squad. Some luck. Ah! Kit's hilarious, bro. He's hilarious. Make sure I go show them some love. It's a damn shame what we've been seeing take place in YouTube. They're literally trying to. We got a couple more topics. Just bear with me. Quits after Democratic Socialist slate won every seat. Yeah. That's hilarious. But actually, no, that's surprising. I don't know why Ryan Grimm is writing this like he's actually a socialist. I mean, he's a social grift. Social grift. Man, oh, that should be a word. Should we do that? Should we coin that? Social grift? The social grifts? The ones who pretend to be socialists, but they're just capitalists who want healthcare. Anyway, not long after Judith Whitmer won her election on Saturday to become chair of the Democratic National. Oh, excuse me. Good God. To become chair of the Nevada Democratic Party, she got an email from the party's executive director, Elena Muntz. The message from Muntz began with a quote of congratulations before getting to her point. She was quitting. So was every other employee. And so were all the consultants, and the staff will be taking severance checks with them. Thank you very much. On March 6th, a coalition of progressive candidates backed by the local chapter of the Democratic Socialists for America took over the leadership of the Nevada Democratic Party, sweeping all 5 party leadership positions in a contested election that evening. Whitmer, who had been chair of the Clark County Democratic Party, was elected chair. The establishment had prepared for the loss, having recently moved $450,000 out of the party's coffers into the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee's account. That's fucked. Wow. So they literally just moved a bunch of money so that progressives couldn't spend it to do anything for progressives, which means for you. That's probably should be illegal at this point. Like that type of movement of money, I feel like that's like damn near a form of embezzling. Anyway, and into the DSCC will put money towards the 2022 re-election bid of Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, a vulnerable first-term candidate. While Whitmer's opponents say she was planning to fire them anyway, Whitmer denies that claim. I've been putting in the work, Whitmer told The Intercept for the last episode of Deconstructed. What they just didn't expect is that we got better and better at organizing and out-organizing them at every turn. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's the only thing I can think. But it's about time people got up and started organizing. It's beyond just going to the voting booth. It's beyond just showing up on Twitter and bitching and attacking Republicans. Like, as you can see here, their biggest problem in this situation wasn't Republicans, was it? It's even beyond just running for office. Think about it. It wasn't like Whitmer just became chair and, oh, I'm quitting because we don't think we have a chance. No. She became chair because there was so much direct action on the ground that a progressive as chairman, or chairwoman, I should say, of their Democratic Party, and then subsequently a bunch of progressives get elected. None of that can happen until you get off your ass. None of that can happen until you take seriously the threat, the existential threat the Democratic Party actually is to the left. Nevada, believe it or not, had a pretty dope chapter there. Reverend Annie on Slow News Day with Steve Poikonen and Glory Jones talked about how they worked with the KKK. The Black Panthers worked with the KKK to shut down the strip so they can get their checks. It was a long time ago. There was a huge democratic socialist movement in 2016. Really, it never died in Nevada. You have a lot of people who moved from Oregon socialism. So if we can see any chinks in the armor of the establishment, this is the part where you take notes. And I see people like laughing at it and yeah. Like, that's cool. But like, now what do you do to build on it? How do you take this and carry this into your city, your state, your organizational groups? Like, what are you doing to build on this? Laura St. James, thank you very much for the tip. Like that's my question to people is, what happens next? And I hope, because like, there's an event on the 17th in March. It's an anti-censorship event, pro Assange event. Like, I mean, you know, we're always organizing. But like, these people who say they want socially selected or who say they want it's cool, celebrate. But they did their work already. They've done their work already. They get to celebrate. We ain't, I mean, I'm in South Florida. We got a lot of work to do. Even though it's kind of like, it's weird. It's not like we're suffering personally, like, cause like Miami's a weird little thing because our economy is almost solely dictated on tourism and service. Like, so even if tourism is down, service is still a thing because everybody in the service industry is in the service industry and uses services, kind of does its own thing. It's like Fayetteville, North Carolina, because of Fort Bragg. But everybody else, like California, bruh, y'all, New York, y'all, I'm just trying to understand why y'all paying so much in taxes. Y'all should be organizing for these people because y'all paying a ridiculous amount in state taxes and city taxes. And hell, if you're in New York, you might be paying a village tax or a township tax or both. Not to mention to New York City, right? You pay 16 to, it's probably more now, 16 to drive to that toll. Bro, you see a pothole in like 0.002 miles. What exactly I'm paying on that money for? I'm gonna tell you what I'm paying state taxes for. I wouldn't know because I don't pay state tax because I live in this great state of Florida. No polar vortexes. But overall, this is very exciting to see. Like, I hope this doesn't mean people think they can just take over the Democratic Party because that's not how that works. But local organizing, I've always said, is different. It's just vastly different than national level organizing. And you have way more control over that because this is a spark. Now let's see what they do about election integrity. If they start addressing election integrity, well, now we've really got something on our hands because maybe some other states will see the value of organizing locally and they'll start doing it more. And then they'll do the same thing because they understand family nonsense. Okay. First of all, the royal family is racist. I feel like I shouldn't even be a debate. I feel like this is a stupid argument to be having. Like, of course they're racist. Like, how many black people do y'all know in their family? Oh, none? That's crazy. So yes, Megan is correct. Being mixed. The heart wants what it wants to be. I think that was part of the on the pipeline thing. How did that not? Also, yeah, for 100% fact, I get it. Some of y'all just might not like Megan's demeanor. Maybe y'all think she's crying wolf, but it's the royal family. It would be like everybody saying you're crying wolf on Biden because you might be conservative. The elitists. We just saw not too long ago. Well, actually, damn, I guess it has been a long time, but 2 decades ago, how they treated Princess Diana. Just for being an outsider. She wasn't even black. So y'all think if they treated Princess Diana like that and she wasn't even black, y'all think that they about to give any type of respect to Megan? Come on, bro. Now there's a small difference though. Princess Diana was actually an activist. And she was kind of known for walking, quote unquote, amongst the people, which is a little bit different in the situation. Megan was already a celebrity. Now we got to figure out what we should really be talking about. We should be talking about Prince Andrew. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about the fact that there is still a monarchy. Why is there still a monarchy? We should be talking about the fact that Piers Morgan and other establishment figures in the UK immediately joined the side of the royal family. Now, if you understand anything about how the establishment and propaganda in the media works, then you know the moment that the mainstream media sides with whatever elitist establishment is in power at the time, then it's most likely that the person who is lobbying accusations against the establishment power at that time is probably right about those accusations, because defend the establishment, which would be the royal family in this case, so fervently as he did. My point is, we need to learn how to cut through this bullshit. Stop falling for the traps, the emotional traps, the distractions, the propaganda, and see what you should be seeing out of this. The royal family are elitist, racist pricks, and this is widely known and understood. The establishment media in the UK is just as bad as the establishment media here. And being black at the same time, and have the audacity to marry into their family, than they were at Prince Andrew for literally being involved in the Epstein scandal. So even when one of their family members does the most disgusting thing possible, they're quicker to shun. Yeah, he resigned from his titles, but that was his choice. That Prince Andrew did, because he got caught. He was trying to like save his family from backlash, but they didn't disown him or shun him, right? But they're quick to shun Meghan, and why? Yeah, because of everything we just talked about. You can't be like, I'm anti-establishment and then support this establishment when it's convenient for your argument, bro. Like, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. Fred said he had to know that Harry had to know it was going to happen. And I agree with you, actually. I truly believe Harry had always planned, because Harry had been having, people forget, Harry was already damn redheaded stepchild, and there's no pun intended there, but kind of. He's a redhead. But like, people forget who Harry is. Like, I've been growing up reading headline news about Harry got another supermodel, Harry out here partying his ass off. Harry was always the kind of person who was like, I don't know if I'm really fucking with this royalty shit. I mean, yeah, it's pretty nice being Prince Harry, but he was always kind of on the verge of wanting to be away, like be separate from the royal family. So like, yeah, I'm sure he saw it coming. That's why, seemingly that's why they were so prepared to do it. Didn't take them long to make the decision after getting married. But like I said, overall, like, I just feel like this is a story that we can use I don't really care all that much. Like, they're fine. Like, they're rich. They're fine. Like, yeah, it sucks sometimes when you're getting treated racistly. Like, black people unfortunately have to deal with it. But at least you're rich. You're getting treated like that. But you also have a loving husband who supports you, and also you're rich as shit. And that's cool. But like, there are other forms of racism that need a lot of attention brought to it too. Breonna Taylor has still not found her justice. Right? There are a lot of examples of this. Are we going to give that access to those stories through Oprah? Or is George, if Derek Chauvin is let off, is Oprah going to bring his family on to discuss it? Because that's an internationally watched story too. No, she won't. The establishment runs cover for the establishment. The news only covers stories that aren't going to affect the establishment. Distraction, 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 distraction. You gotta pay attention, people. You gotta pay attention. Pay attention to the real stuff. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't pay attention to this, like, at all. What I'm saying is, pay attention and figure out what you're really supposed to be learning from what's going on. Don't like take the story at face value as far as what you're supposed to be getting out of it. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us today. So if you enjoyed this stream and you're a new person, consider becoming a subscriber for our Rockfin channel. That's how we support ourselves. Y'all know YouTube completely demonetized us. They censored us. They're trying to kill off our channel. But hey, we are here, we're surviving, and the way we're surviving is through Rockfin. We have a huge announcement coming tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You do not want to miss that. You don't want to miss it. I promise you don't. It's going to be a freaking dope time. Super excited about it. Make sure that you're there for that. Like I said, consider endorsing the channel, or you can support us on Patreon. If you already have a Patreon and you just want to support us there, that's fine. Donations to Rockfin, because Rockfin is now Hermes, Frank, Kim Iverson, who getting long. Last American Vagabond. That's how we're able, and the people have been gracious enough to for just endorsing one. It's like let them thrive. And so we're incredibly. But hey, before you go, will you comment on the 2 million? Is it because of everything how horribly he's handled COVID? By the way, interesting. I don't know about California, but did y'all know New York, all of a sudden, they started opening their restaurants and letting people sit inside, but they didn't announce it to the world because they didn't want to be judged. Because remember, whenever Florida announced that we were even moving towards that direction, with still with limited spacing and stuff like that, but still moving towards that direction, they jumped on us. They attacked us immediately. And New York does it after making such a big deal about it. And so yeah, the way they handle COVID is horrible. It's been hypocritical, and I hope he gets recalled. He should be. Cuomo should have been gone. It's just so crazy to me that it's basically like somebody in the Democratic Party convinced Gavin Newsom and Cuomo that they were going to be presidential candidates and they had a chance to win. And then now we're seeing somebody bring them back down in reality. If you really thought that we were going to let y'all beat Kamala, y'all lost your minds. Recall, 2 million signatures, sexual harassment claims, and nursing home scandal. Even though New York is not the only place where the nursing home scandal happened. Yeah. Boy, the Democrats are ruthless. As soon as they get, bro, I'm telling you, this is where Democrats are the worst, is when they have office and have power. Because then they kill each other off until they don't have it anymore. Heather, thank you very much for the Super Ray. One Keeper of the Flame, thank you very much for the Super Ray as well. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in to this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. And always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.